Hey, what's up? I'm Bret Shuford, the Creative Life Coach, and I help creatives make money doing what they love by turning their passions into profits without sacrificing their authenticity. And if that's something you want to learn more about, then check out the subscribe button below. Click that, subscribe. You're going to get a lot more content from me coming up. This is a great channel for anyone who wants to build a brand, a social media brand, a personal brand, especially for creatives who maybe feel a little stuck in how to make money doing what they love. This channel is for you. So today what we're talking about is something that I notice comes up a lot with new clients. Whenever I work with a new client, we really struggle, even existing clients, we struggle to post consistently on social media, whether we're posting a blog, whether we're posting a video, whether we're posting on IG or TikTok. Consistency is really a struggle, and so many of us can beat ourselves up about it because we feel like if we're not consistent, we're not being successful. And consistency, as you probably hear a lot, is key. You know, if you're like most people, you probably find it hard to show up. You may even struggle feeling like maybe your content isn't good enough, or that your post won't be interesting or won't be valuable to people. And a lot of these things are just limiting beliefs, things that we're allowing ourselves to get in the way. And they continue to be strengthened when we are consuming more than we're creating, right? That's where that compare and despair comes in. So what I like to teach people is that we want social media and blogging or whatever, our content creation, to really become a habit, not an event. And if you can create a habit of posting, if you can create a habit of making things, you're going to find it less daunting. Because the routine, just like brushing your teeth or working out, will be more natural, but creating habits take time. It's not easy, right? Growth isn't easy. So this episode is hopefully going to give you some pointers to help unlock some of these beliefs so that you can start moving forward. Here's some ways that I've noticed we can get in our own way. Maybe you feel like you don't have anything to share, that your everyday stuff isn't interesting enough, or you have no new ideas. You feel like you have to be original. You see so many people making original things, and how do I be original? Maybe you share way too much personal stuff and you're not sharing enough of the business stuff, the stuff that you really want people to know you for. That would be a personal brand, right? So how do you make it a habit? Number one, stop trying to create on so many platforms. I think a lot of us get burnt out pretty quick because we're trying to make content on every single platform. So I want you, if you haven't done this, just give yourself permission to just choose two for now, right? 2 platforms at the most for now. I know for me, I've alternated through different platforms throughout my years. Sometimes I'm like thriving on YouTube. Sometimes, it's been Facebook for a long time until Instagram came along. Now it's all Instagram most of the time. And then I do a little bit of TikTok. All that dabbling can really spread you thin. So I want you to think, how can I dominate, not dabble? How can I dominate, not dabble? So pick 1 or 2 platforms that you can just completely own. And I want you to base it not on necessarily where you think your audience is, which is certainly a factor, but what do you like doing? Because it's never going to be consistent if you don't enjoy doing it. So if you like writing, if you like being witty, Twitter might be a great platform for you. If you like video, YouTube is a great platform, maybe one of the best. If you like video and photo and, being witty and fun, Instagram is great, right? So maybe just focus on, how can I get really, really good at this platform? The second thing you want to really start to think about is identifying your voice. What does that mean? All right. Well, number one, you have things that inspire you, right? People that inspire you, brands that inspire you. And also your audience has brands and places and companies and people that inspire them. So looking at not being afraid, and this came up recently with a coaching client of mine who is an awesome personal trainer. And I said, hey, I was referring to people on Instagram. He really wants to grow his Instagram, who I think are amazing fitness people, and he didn't know who they were. So you need to know where your audience already is. And the challenge here is getting over yourself, right? Sometimes we don't do it because we are comparing or we're seeing someone else's success and we're thinking, well, I can't do that because they're already successful. But success leaves clues. And it is okay. Every artist, right? There's a great book called Steal Like an Artist, steals from other artists, right? Romeo and Juliet is also West Side Story. So knowing that, you can start to use what's already working successfully in the space that you already live in, and from people who are already successful, you want to credit them. You don't want to copy them immediately, but gather inspiration. The more you start to practice what's already working, the more you're going to start to find your own voice. The other thing, number 3, that I think is really important is to set a schedule for yourself, but be realistic. You're going to hear a lot of social media experts, including myself, who are going to tell you, like, I have this schedule. I post a lot of content, but it's all that I do. Like, it is my business now, right? It may not be all that you do. You may have other things happening. So you want to set a schedule that you can realistically show up to. So if you can't post every day, can you post 3 days a week? And if you decide to post 3 days a week, you got to commit to that. You got to show up for yourself. You got to show up for your brand and your business. Otherwise, you're going to constantly be kind of starting over and never gain the momentum, because all social media it's a compounding effect. Over time, you build a following from showing up consistently. That's how we do it organically. And that's how you do it in a way that feels real and right and authentic. All right. Number 4 is, if you don't use an editorial calendar. I'm not huge on editorial calendars, but I do like to kind of map some things out. I like to have it as an option. So what you might want to consider is, you can certainly download, every month I have a free download that's a calendar of suggestions for the month, especially events, current events, holidays, national holidays, and things that are happening that you can create content for. It might even inspire you to come up with things in between those dates that are more relevant to you and your audience. But think through, okay, like, for instance, Walt Disney's birthday is coming up. So I started thinking about that today. Okay, what do I want to make that can celebrate Walt Disney's birthday? Because that's a huge part of my inspiration. So think about that, right? Maybe creating a rough editorial calendar. It doesn't have to be tried and, for some people who are very A-type, that works. I like to be more organic. So I know I'm going to post 2 reels a day. I know I'm going to post an in-feed post, and I'm going to alternate between 4 or 5 topics: coffee, Disney, inspiration, social media marketing, and LGBTQ plus issues, right? Those are the things you're most likely going to see in my feed. So I usually just kind of leave it open. Okay, what's my impulse? What's my audience feeling? I have plenty of content to choose from, but that's taken years to build. So you want to build that up. Then you want to think about number 5, when is your audience most active? Now, I can't tell you that. You're going to have to go into your insights. And if you haven't registered as a business or a creator, that's the first thing you need to do, because insights are going to tell you a lot. They're especially going to tell you when your audience is most active, so that when you're posting, you are getting the most engagement out of that post, right? The other thing you can do, number 6, is use apps that can post for you. I have a client who loves to have her Sunday coffee. She doesn't go to church. She sits down and she maps out her content for the week, and she schedules it in Buffer. But there's other things like Later, there's Hootsuite, and a lot of those softwares might even give you ideas and prompts to help you come up with some ideas. So just check those out. And then number 7 is to get away from comparing and despairing, right? Stop looking at what others are doing. If you catch yourself consuming more than you're creating, you're headed in the wrong direction. What we want to do is create more than we consume. And I know that sounds, easier than done, but when we are comparing and we're consuming, we are no longer in the creator seat, right? And that again is we got to create a habit and a habit of being a creator. And so sometimes it's going to feel really good just to keep scrolling through and get, and I certainly still can find myself doing this sometimes where I'm just consuming and thinking, wow, these people are so good at this. How am I going to do this? Letting go of that, letting go of perfection. You might need to put the phone down, go for a walk, shake it off, right? Shake the energy off and come back. So getting away from comparing and despairing, because everyone's brand is different. You got to figure out what works for you. And when I talk about analytics and insights, this is something that came up with that same client the other day. If you aren't posting consistently, you are not getting the data that you need to then decide what's working and what's not working. You need to be posting at least for 90 days consistently before you go into your analytics and decide if your audience likes something. You're just not getting enough data if you're just doing it intermittently. So I'm going to encourage you just to be consistent, try things, being willing to be imperfect. Number 9, give yourself grace. Rome wasn't built in a day, so you're not going to be able to build new habits overnight. It takes time. One of the things that I learned from a mentor of mine, Chalene Johnson, is you might want to attach your social media to a habit that you currently do. Perhaps you already, brushing your teeth, eating breakfast, working out. Maybe you attach 15 minutes of engagement there, right? Or making a post. The other thing you want to do is, number 10, is to celebrate your wins. Even the smallest wins are huge. You can't build on success you don't acknowledge. So you want to be able to take your wins, the things that are working, acknowledge them so that you can then build on them. Because then that's where it becomes fun. If we're constantly looking at what's not working, we're not taking the time to look at what is working, we're going to constantly feel behind. So there's stuff you're doing that's working. Let's acknowledge those. Let's celebrate those. Cool? So the bottom line is that if you want to be successful on social media, you got to make posting a habit. And when you do this, it's just going to become easier for you to share your thoughts authentically, your ideas, to not be so afraid to be vulnerable. The more creative you're going to be, because you're going to start to gather inspiration and think, what does my audience need today? How can I serve them today? Which is all we're doing here, is serving our audience. One of the things that I want to encourage you is, if you haven't taken the time to really think through who your ideal audience is, so many of us are trying to make content for everybody, and you can't make everybody happy. Our job is not to be liked, right? Our job is to become known. So if everybody likes us, we're not really working hard enough. I want to encourage you to really think about, who is that one person that I can be of service to, and make content for that person, because that person needs the thing that you have, right? If you want to check out and download my free roadmap, this is totally free and super fun. It's how to help you build a brand that you love and how to create some new habits. You can go to the imposter-to-influencer-map.com. Just go, I'll put the link down in the description below, totally free. It'll help guide you through how to build some habits. And if you want to see more videos like this, you want more content like this, let me know what questions you have about building your brand, becoming known, and making money online doing what you love. I'm so happy to have you here. Please stay tuned. Have an awesome, awesome night. Bye.